I'm chatting with the only original member of Deep Purple. 1968 is when Deep Purple kind of actually formed, and you've been with the band from day one. How has the band's dynamic evolved over the years? I mean, changing members, a whole load of stuff happening. Just take us through the journey of how the band has evolved.
So the hardest thing is when you are in a band and you've had the luck of success, you wake up in the morning, you have a band. Somebody gives you a phone call in the afternoon, you don't have a band. Somebody has left, somebody's been fired. It's an awful feeling, and it's one that I've never actually personally been involved with. The decisions have been made by other people, but you have to get on with life and try and find a way of continuing. Whatever formation Deep Purple has had, we've always tried to find the best people available to fill in those slots. It's never always going to be the same. Just it can't be, because if you have 4 or 5 musicians working together, the dynamic changes. If you lose one, you've changed 20%. If you lose 2, you've changed 40% of that chemistry. So it does change. But all the way through the history, I believe that one thing Purple have always done is always respected their audience, understand that they have the absolute choice about your success. If they trust you and believe in you, they'll stay with you. And for that to happen, you have to give them everything you have, everything. You can't leave 10% back in the hotel.
Right.
If they believe what you're doing is the most you have and it's for them, they'll stay with you. And I believe all the way through Purple's career, we've tried to do that. There's been a couple of periods where certain members are unhappy and things started to slip, but we tried to fix that. And I think even to this day, we still have one thing which keeps us all sane after doing it for so long. We still enjoy doing it. We still enjoy going on stage. We still enjoy those moments of magic where the 5 of you come together in a way that didn't happen before and will probably never happen again for a moment, for part of a song. Most of it is pretty, I wouldn't say it's like an orchestral score, but it's pretty much in your mind what you're going to do. But those moments, those magical moments where everybody's in the right mood, everybody's got a good sound, those musical moments come together.
Right.
You might only get 2 or 3 of them a year, but they're worth waiting for. And the audience know. Because they can feel something different.
Right.
That's the Disneyland of music, I'll tell you.
I've had the privilege of watching y'all, on all 3 occasions in India. 95 in what was then Bombay, and 2006, I think it was, in Bangalore, and then more recently at Bandland. Yeah. And, can you share some memorable moments, and you don't have to be polite, from your last India tour or tours with, Deep Purple?
I think it was the second tour we had a problem, and it was nothing to do with the audience, but one of your ex-politicians died, and the country went into a 3-day mourning period, which interrupted one of our shows. So we were stuck in the hotel, I think it was in Mumbai, where we couldn't do anything. We just had to wait. And that was a little difficult because the time after the Indian thing was very tight. So we were having to reschedule and rebook things because we didn't want to cancel the shows. Right. As an artist, you get to go to India very few times. You don't want to disappoint people. So that was a bit difficult. But the audiences, they've been fantastic. I don't know how many rock bands come through India. I'm sure it's not as many as in Europe, but it seemed to me that when they get a chance to experience it, they really enjoy it, and they let the band know that they're enjoying it. That's very important. Most audiences don't understand that they are actually in control. They can control a show. They can make it great. They can make it terrible. It's up to them. but the artist has to do their job too. They have to do the best they can. But we had a wonderful time. I remember one time we were doing a sound check. I think it was the first trip to India. And we went to the show the day before, and all the big PA rigs were each side. We'd never seen it before, but they were all built on bamboo scaffolding, bamboo holding all the big speakers up. You know? Yeah. Anyway, we started playing, and someone pointed up at one of the towers, and there sat on top of the tower was a vulture, big vulture bird looking down at us like that. You don't see that in Europe. And I remember being taken out for a day to the Delhi Golf Club, and I don't play golf, you know, I don't understand the game, but I learned one rule in India: if you're playing golf, if your ball goes into the rough grass, you don't follow it. There'd be cobras out there, you know.
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way, Ian. In India, there is no lack of excitement.
No, it's very refreshing to see. The trouble is when you play in the Western world and in America, it's a natural part of life, seeing major artists all the time. And it's not like the audience get blasé about it, but it's nothing that special to them. When you go to another territory where that form of entertainment is not so immediate, it's a lot more exciting for both sets, for the artist and for the audience. And that shows in the way the shows develop and the feeling, the emotion. And you can't duplicate those moments of excitement. They're just there. And you just hope that you can experience it when you're there. Yeah.
Right. Now, you know, Machine Head, I mean, is Deep Purple's 6th studio album, featuring, of course, loads of landmark songs, the big ones being Smoke on the Water, Highway Star, to me, the entire album. Now, you know, we're celebrating its 50th anniversary and then some. You know, just take us through, what was the vibe? What was the inspiration behind the album? I know there are stories around it, but want to hear it from you first.
Yeah, sure. Well, the history of it, you know, we've gone through that many times. But the overriding thought that comes to my mind is a miracle that the record actually exists. There was so many things going against us, and we only had 3 weeks to do the whole thing, because we only had the Rolling Stones recording track for 3 weeks. After that, it had to go somewhere else. And so we lost the first week through the fire in the casino, from the first place we tried to record, where we recorded the backing track for Smoke on the Water. And eventually, when we got to the Grand Hotel, we were down to 2 weeks. First week had just been lost. And we didn't go into the studio with completed pieces of music. Much of it was written and arranged as we recorded it. You know, they were just basic ideas. We had some pressure from our management saying we had, you know, contractually to make another record for EMI. And so we just, well, we'll do what we can, without any great hopes that it would come out okay. You know, we decided to get out of the limitations of studios for sound, because what we were trying to capture, studios were killing it. Whereas occasionally we'd play a live show in a hall that had a great sound.
Right.
So we thought, why don't we do that? Let's just record in a room that sounds good, so we can enjoy at least making the music. Which is why we ended up in Montreux. Initially to record in the casino, which we played the year before, and we knew the room sounded good. If the room sounds good, and you have a decent recording technical side, it'll always sound good. If the room doesn't sound good, then you have to start recreating those sounds electronically. That seems stupid. And why would you step back? You would just do it. So that was the idea of recording in the casino. Well, see, it went wrong because it burnt down, but we still managed to find somewhere with a decent enough sound that we could record easily, quickly, and be happy with the sound. I say we probably only, by the time we got set up, we probably had 10 days to do the record. We listened to the track, and we thought, that's pretty good. We were all getting ready to go home. And Martin Birch, our sound engineer, said, you can't the record's not long enough. It's too short. You're missing a track. So we said, well, what do we do? So he said, let's listen to the first track we did in the other place. So we listened to it. It was just the backing track. It sounds okay. Yeah, it's good. Nothing special. You know? But then Ian Gillan and Roger went away and they wrote the lyrics to the song that would become Smoke on the Water. I think it took them 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Just tell the story. We all came out to Montreux, late Jubilee, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Ian went in to sing it, and all of a sudden, this backing track suddenly was a song. And the magic of that was not the incredible riff, which has driven more music shop people crazy than anything else in the world. It also had the bit that the people sing, smoke on the water. So you had two hooks immediately. So we thought, well, that's nice. We'll put it on the record. But we didn't think anything more about it. Warner Brothers, who now had the rights to release records for us in the US, one of their record guys, he loved the track Smoke on the Water, but he couldn't get it played on the radio because it was too long, 5.5 minutes. In those days, they wanted 3 minutes, 3 minutes 20. You know, American radio works on advertising. You get adverts in every 3 minutes, it's more money. But he, unbeknownst to us, he took the masters and he went into a studio in LA and he edited it down to 3 minutes. That he took to the radio station and they started to play it. Because Deep Purple had no product in the US for 3 years. We got lost in contracts. Radio stations started to play it. Then people found that it had come from an album. They bought the album. And that one decision restarted Deep Purple's career in the USA. Getting one track, good track, onto the radio stations.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. I say luck is an amazing thing. And it's something we would never have thought of doing. But one guy whose job it was to sell records, it's a different mindset to making records, you know?
True.
He saw the possibilities and we didn't. Yeah.
94.3 Radio 1.